So I realised when I was making my video about the Oscar-nominated documentaries that I haven't reviewed a documentary in here for a while. So today we have my movie review of the college admissions scandal on Netflix. Welcome back, or if you are new here, welcome. My name is Katrina and I make bookish content here on this channel, usually at least twice a week, but this last week's been a bit of a difference because we had Oscars and then I gave you a little bit of a break since I'd bombarded you with videos every day. I will leave my movie reviews playlist up above for you. Again, I normally make these just on a Sunday. In the description box you will find all of my social links, including my blog and my Goodreads, where I do review most of the things that I read. And yes, I do love a documentary, and yeah, I hadn't reviewed one for a while, so we watched the college admission scandal documentary on Netflix last night, and I have some thoughts. So I've been excited about watching this one because you obviously get a lot of stuff about the big names that were involved through news outlets, but you don't kind of get the whole story because they tend to focus on these sort of celebrities fall from grace and these like very, very rich people ending up going to prison. And so you just kind of get that side of it, whereas I wanted to kind of understand the whole thing, because not growing up in this country and not going to college in this country, going to university in the UK and in Scotland where there aren't tuition fees if you're Scottish, not if you're English, it's a whole new world for me, and so I was intrigued by the documentary. Now, I use the word documentary slightly loosely because what Netflix have done with this one is they have got a documentary, but then they also have cast several people to do sort of dramatic recreations. So there are whole transcripts of phone conversations, and they've used those transcripts and condensed them and had actors say the words from the transcript. So rather than just have like somebody reading the transcript and us just seeing it, we've got kind of actors on screen recreating this. So a couple of the things I really liked about this one was that, yes, I'm getting a lot more information. I'm getting a lot of talking heads on how the whole thing worked and why it was such a scandal and why it was such a big police operation. I think even though I'd seen the coverage on the news, I didn't know that there were so many people involved at multiple different levels. And so I liked that information. I liked some of the news footage that they used in the documentary as well. And then I thought the sort of range of people that they got for talking heads was interesting. However, a lot of the talking heads talk about the sort of main guy that orchestrated it all. So they talked about there being a, front door into universities is like, applying and getting accepted based on your application and your own merit. The back door is paying millions and millions of dollars to get into these prestige schools. And then this guy came up with this side door that's like a combination of bit of money and a bit of lying. And so a lot of the talking heads in the documentary were talking about him and how he'd been in their life as a genuine college admissions coach. And these people fully exist the same way as you have tutors that are specialist tutors for kids passing 11 plus exams to go to fee paying schools and also grammar schools in England. But yeah, he's a full coach and he would travel the country. So yeah, you had these people talking about him. However, a lot of the people talking like, I knew there wasn't quite, something right with him, or, oh yeah, he never seemed like a really sort of charismatic guy, or, oh, there was always this like lingering tension with him. And I'm like, well, you're saying that now, but you know now what he's done. It was kind of very, very much a like biased documentary. And then we kind of go on to the bit that is the fact that they use dramatizations. Now, I don't mind, a little bit of dramatization, and it can often be helpful where a lot of the stuff like this one is they've got whole transcripts of all these incriminating phone calls and all these incriminating messages and emails and things like that. So rather than just have those be on the screen and have someone reading them, I can kind of see why they dramatized it, but it did sometimes make it hard to decipher when you were watching a real person and when you were watching an actor playing one of the people that was involved. And I think you had to be paying sort of full attention to it to make sure that you weren't sort of mixing people up. The documentary did a good job of introducing the people that were kind of like doing the talking heads, or introducing the people that were based on those people. But when it was kind of like in the midst of the film, sometimes you were like, is this real, or is this like a dramatized retelling? I'm not sure, but I suppose it's a bit like when, you know, Crime Stoppers was at its height in the UK, and they would have dramatizations of things that had happened to help people kind of recognize if they had any information. So I wasn't as keen on the dramatization side of it. I think a little bit is okay, but this one just had maybe a little bit too much. And then I feel like it was almost, so the lead up to it felt very sort of long. There was a lot of explaining going on of like some individual cases, like they did a balance of like case studies and a balance of like overall, and I almost feel like that stretch was too long compared to when everything sort of starts getting found out and the operation is coming to a close. I almost feel like the kind of like, this is how it all unfolded and these were the consequences, felt a little bit rushed at the end for me. I think that they could have got a slightly better balance of, this is how it all started and this is how it all went down, and then this is how it ended and these are the consequences. I felt like the ending was just a little bit rushed, but I don't think it necessarily needed to be longer. It felt like a really good length, but I think they could have had a slight balance there. So yeah, this one was definitely a mixed bag for me. I was excited to watch it. I was excited when I heard that they were doing it. I was dubious when I heard that they were putting actors in, but I'm glad I finally had a chance to sit down and watch it. I would definitely recommend watching it, but just know there's gonna be a bit of, in my opinion, overuse of dramatization of things that happened and not quite enough real footage. And then again, the talking heads just felt very like, oh, skewed like in one direction. I mean, the whole documentary definitely has a bias, but the talking heads in particular, it was like, oh yeah, I always knew there was something wrong with him. Oh, I always knew there was something going on, you know? And so, yeah, that's my general opinion. I can sort of see more coming out of this. And as well, if you are interested in the college admission stuff, I read Admission by Julie Buxbaum earlier in the year. And so if you already have an interest in that book was awesome. It's young adult fiction, but I think it does a really good job of, again, explaining something from a sort of case study point of view, and it deals with a sort of minor celebrity mom and a quite powerful dad, and I loved what that book did. So if you are interested in that, I highly recommend that book as well. So we've got a mixture of my bookish content and my movie content coming together in a non-book versus movie situation. As always, if there is a particular movie that has recently come out that you would like me to watch and review here for you, do let me know in the comments. Give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed, and make sure you are subscribed and hit that notification bell, because I have both my April wrap-up and my May TBR coming your way very soon. And if you see my April mid-month wrap up, you will know that the end of month wrap up is probably going to be just as like different from normal as that mid-month wrap up. So yes, thank you so much for watching. I will see you with those videos in the week.